What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, the Isle Weaver update added a new Incarnon two-handed scythe called the Thalys, and today we're doing a RIven rolling video for that weapon. Now, it did start out with the lowest RIven stats possible, like most new weapons do, so this won't exactly be a slottable RIven, but we're going to be going over what could be good on a RIven if you do want to use this thing, because it will likely get RIven buffs down the line. If you enjoy these types of videos, and just Warframe videos in general, in the right place for Warframe content, hit that subscribe button, and also hit the like button as well. That's more people see these videos. But yeah, the Thalys Incarnon Scythe is a pretty cool Incarnon Scythe, a two-handed scythe, and its special ability is once you get a 6x multiplier or lower with some of the Incarnon perks, hits will create shards of enemies that can explode and cause additional damage. As far as the RIven stats I'm looking for, I like to run a melee influence build on the Thalys, like a lot of weapons use. And as you can see in the background footage, it's pretty good with melee influence. So I'm looking for a replacement to some of the not as amazing mods that are on this build. Like I said though, it's 0.5 disc, but the lowest stats possible, so don't expect exactly the most meta RIven you've ever seen in your life. So as far as the build I've got on the Thalys right now, it is as follows. So we've got the standard melee influence stuff. We've got electric mod to get electric for melee influence. We've got Gale Force Dawn, the only stance that exists for these things, sadly. Organ Shatter, Blood Rush, Weeping Wounds, Galvanized Elementalist, Galvanized Steel, Primed Pressure Point, which would be the mod I'll be potentially replacing here with 165 melee damage, and Primed Reach. Now, I am playing Calervo in the footage, so I could maybe take Blood Rush off the build, but like the mods I'm looking to replace here are going to either be Primed Pressure Point, Blood Rush, maybe Organ Shatter, or that's pretty much going to be it, because the numbers of these mods are a lot higher than these RIvens can possibly be. So what we currently have is 35.8% heat, 24.2% additional combo chance, and 33% crit damage. So you're looking at really low stats. But again, I'm expecting it to get buffed in the future because this is a non-Steel Path Incarnon, which means it's not supposed to be meta. The Dual Ichor Incarnon will always be more meta than this, as will, like, the Magistar and stuff like that. But it's still really good. So let's start off with our rolls. Like I said, rolls we're looking for melee influence rolls and just generic good rolls in general. Keeping in mind, this will be a unslottable RIven for at least the next 3 months. Alright, first roll in. We've got 62% melee damage, anti-Grenier, anti-infested. So definitely not a good roll. And as you can see, 62% melee damage, that's nowhere near prime pressure point. So we're going to go ahead and keep the first one and hope that the second one we get next is better than this one. Also, these are some of the most expensive RIvens in the game right now, as it's a new Incarnon. And what do we have here? So we've got Toxin, Range, and Heavy Efficiency. I'm not going to act like Heavy Efficiency is actually good, but Toxin and Range sounds somewhat interesting at least. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, as it is a relatively free negative too. There is an Incarnon perk on the Thalys that makes, I think, like AoE knockdowns on Finisher, but you don't actually need Finisher damage for that. Okay, so here's a decent one. We've got attack speed and melee damage. Again, really low stats. Like 62% melee damage is not that much. Attack speed is good. This thing is really slow. And I'm not going to be really running attack speed, but I might run Arcane Strike. So as far as these two, I think I'm going to stick with the first one. As attack speed and damage are good, but additional combo count chance is not needed, as we can really build up the combo very easily on this thing. Let's hope for something a bit better here. So what we have now, Toxin, melee damage, 82%, anti-corpus, and minus slash. So minus slash is the only IPS you can roll on this thing. It only has puncture and slash in the first place. But yeah, anti-corpus, not that good. 82% melee damage is decent, but I do not want Toxin on either roll. So now that these rolls are actually keepable, I think I'm going to go with this one for now, just to have a little bit of fun, to try something out. So I would recommend that you don't get Toxin on here, because that's going to ruin your melee influence weighting, and it'll maybe even make it where you can't get melee influence in the first place. Status chance, crit chance, minus crit damage. That's a reduction to your DPS, so I wouldn't really recommend taking a roll like that. But yeah, not a good one to start out on. Let's hope we get something somewhat decent. I'm looking for like attack speed, range, melee damage, maybe not minus range. Now it does have a perk where it gets slide attacks bonuses, but yeah, slide attacks are very outdated. I'm looking for DE to actually buff up the slide attack mods at some point in the future. Alright, moving on to the next one here, we got combo duration, cold, slide crit, and Maya status. These are some pretty bad rolls so far. Let's hope we can turn this around with just a nice roll in general. So combo duration and anti-infested, another terrible one right there. If you see any roll with anti-infested on it, I would say it's not really worth keeping, as infested are the easiest to kill for the most part. 24% attack speed, 6% finisher, anti-Grenier, and minus combo duration. I like that attack speed. 24% is not that much, but again, after like a RIven buff or two, you can see a somewhat respectable RIven on these cards. 1.2 meters of range is very good for a 0.5 Dispel RIven, but minus combo duration and increased status duration, not very helpful alongside it. My god roll will probably end up being like attack speed, crit damage, range, or electric, and then like minus slide crit probably. Minus slide crit or minus finisher. Another useless Riven. Anything involving combos run the Riven for me as I look for actual DPS increasing stats. Okay, we got anti-Grenier, range, heavy efficiency, and my stash duration. Pretty okay with the range, but yeah, stash duration not my favorite stat on a 0.5 Dispo Riven. It's rarely going to be even worse slotting in the first place. Range, attack speed, additional combo count chance, and minus status chance. Minus status chance is pretty bad. Range and attack speed are good, but it's a low roll on range. 0.8 meters, not that much. 20% attack speed's good. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the one we had already. And really, really hope for a good one here, as I pretty much can't keep this Riven right now. Alright. Now, I did want to do a video rolling a Spinnerex Riven, because there's a special interaction I want to try out in a video, but I have a feeling it will get patched out pretty soon, or it already has been patched out, so that might not end up happening. But for the Simulacrum, the Simulacrum Rivens have been great to have with multi-shot and damage. I've seen some people out there with a multi-shot damage, crit damage roll, which sounds really good. Speaking of really good, what we have here, range, critical damage, heavy efficiency, no negative. I think I might stick with this one for right now, because it is actually not good, but slottable. Almost slottable. It doesn't have toxin. The big thing is there's no toxin on there, so I'm actually willing to try that one out. Alright, minus crit damage is terrible. If this one had a negative, it'd probably be a little bit better. But yeah, we have two of my stats I wanted on here with range and crit damage. Anti-Grenier cold, minus Corpus, or sorry, minus Grenier and plus Corpus. Not the best. Plus cold is good for like blast procs and viral, but we need electric where we go with melee influence. Electric combo duration minus heavy attack efficiency. Now this thing does heavy attack relatively often with the special Incarnate perk needing it to be transformed after heavy attack, but yeah, that doesn't really mean much to me. Heavy attack efficiency is a relatively easy stat to acquire. Anti-Corpus and Toxin, again, they really want me to get Anti-Corpus and Toxin on this Riven. I'm going to go ahead and say no, as that is a stat I'm never really looking to get, so let's see if we get like actually good here. Plus Finisher is not good, but plus Electric is decent, so we're going to skip that one. If we get this exact Riven with like just minus something decent, I'd be really interested in it. 24% attack speed again. So a relatively okay Riven, but it has minus slash and combo duration and cold. So yeah, any other element besides electric is going to be a detriment to us in the long run. Anti-Grenier, slide crit and minus crit damage. Bummer. Anything slide crit is just a no from me. And as you can see, these Riven rolls have been really low stat. It is not exactly worth rolling a Riven for this thing. Even if the Rivens are like 400 plat unrolled, it's not a meta Incarnate at all, guys. So I'd say use your Kuva elsewhere. Another Corpus Toxin roll again. Use your Kuva elsewhere. Like, even the Simulacrum has 0.5 Dispo, but those are more slobbable runes, I'd say, in my opinion. You know, another weapon like the base assist, even. The base assist is not the highest stats, but still pretty good with a Riven. Just anything that has higher stats in this base. I'm just doing this to show you guys that what is possible. Okay, critical chance, electric, combo duration, and minus combo chance gain. Electric is good. Critical chance is not the best, as we're playing Kalervo right now, so hold that hope for something that's actually not immediately being trash-talked by me. Anti-Grenier, Toxin, and Anti-Corpus, another roll that's useless to me. Yeah, these have not been going the best, as you can see. Minus range, plus 31% attack speed, though, and plus stash duration. That is good to know you can get that much attack speed with a 0.5 Dispo. But yeah, minus range makes it we're not going to hit as many enemies, not as much melee influence potential, just not as good. Alright, every roll has had either an element, a toxin, or a bad negative, I feel like. So, no in-between Rivens, mostly just bad Rivens, it seems like. Let's keep going. We got another toxin roll on deck here. I think it's like the 5th toxin roll, at least in these 31 rolls. Let's hope we can turn this around into a electric range attack speed roll or something like that. Anti-Corpus, slide crit, and normal crit chance. Why is slide crit even allowed on Rivens anymore is the real question. Slide crit's such an outdated stat. It used to be meta back in the day, but then we were overusing it as DE was putting it, and we had to have it nerfed, apparently. So yeah, Maiming Strike is a terrible mod. Any Riven that has Maiming Strike stats on it is also pretty much a terrible Riven, unless it's a negative. And what we have here, Anti-Infested, Anti-Grenier, critical damage, and Maya Slash. If that was like Anti-Corpus, maybe, instead of Anti-Infested, I'd think about it. But yeah, another pretty trash roll. Critical damage is pretty good, though. So, too bad that was not the other stats were that great alongside it. Attack speed, range, combo chance, like pretty much the exact number we have already. But yeah, 0.7 range is like not even a full meter, so yikes. And the funny thing is, too, that since this is a 0.5 Dispo Riven, the lowest stats it could be, you're going to have a hard time even finding a Riven that is above 1 meter range, because that's just how low the stats possibly can be right now. So, keep it on here. We got Anti-Garnier and Anti-Infested. That's like the same Riven as before, but with less stats on it, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. So yeah, as far as, you know, using this thing in the long run, I might make a video on it involving this Riven in the future, maybe a level 10,000 run. But as it stands right now, I already knew before it came out it was not going to be meta, because that's just how Incarnons are. They are not Steel Path. And lo and behold, it is a little bit worse than the Steel Path Incarnons, but still really good. It's definitely the best two-handed scythe besides maybe the Chlorophyll with its ranged attack. And we have 56% melee damage. Man, I'm really looking for a good roll on this thing, but it looks like it might not end up happening here. But yeah. As far as this thing being meta and good, it can one-shot some Acolytes easily with high base damage. It has some pretty good melee influence potential with its special abilities, but yeah, beyond that, just a powerful scythe with bad stance. I hope that DE eventually buffs the stance for this thing and the two-handed Nakanas, but I feel like they've been saying that over and over, they're keep buffing, they just never actually did it. So yeah, just going quickly through some of these trash rolls here. Really trying to get a good roll on this Riven. We got Blast Riven with minus range. Now, that could be okay, because there are no blast mods in this game, but minus range really makes it look bad. I'm going to go ahead and skip that one, as minus range is terrible, and plus blast was going to ruin our weighting. Now, blast electric potential could be there, but yeah, we're not really dealing with the most status chance in the first place either. Status duration negative is bad, plus toxins also bad for what we're doing here. So yeah, if you guys have rolled a Thalys, let me know how you, what end up you end up getting in the comments down below. As of right now, I'm looking at a Riven that might end up just getting sold as trash afterwards. So let's go to like at least 50 rolls here to see if we get anything better. Combo duration / anti-Grenier minus Corpus. I just really want a big melee damage chunk on here, the biggest melee damage chunk possible. Okay, that was almost the biggest melee chunk possible, but finisher damage and heavy efficiency are bad alongside it, as is minus slash. So as far as the best negative on this thing, it does seem that the best negative is either like minus infested, minus slide crit, maybe minus finisher, or maybe even minus slash could be good, because as minus slash will make it where you're getting more electric procs. That could be pretty nice for you. So we have your toxin attack speed, another terrible one. Yeah, if only these had like negatives on them. That's the thing about Rivens, is that Rivens could be wildly different in variance how strong their stats are if you have a negative and you know what to look for. That's why a lot of people ask me, like, what's a good Riven? A lot of stats are just terrible on Rivens in general. I wish they would do like a Riven update to take some of those terrible stats out, but they don't do it. So here we are with like status duration on a Riven in 2025 for a melee weapon. Alright, combo duration, heavy efficiency. A lot of combo duration, heavy efficiency rolls I've noticed. It feels like every other roll is going to have one of those stats, so. Minus critical damage plus electric. That was almost a good. If that was electric critical damage, I probably would have taken it, but yeah, that was not electric critical damage. That was just bad. So, come on. Stash chance, stash duration, bad one right there. When you have a somewhat okay roll, this is kind of like what happens. You have to start looking at every roll. Oh my gosh, it was almost God roll. If you would swap those crit chance and the infested around, that would have been so good. 1 meter of range, 27% attack speed. Dang, it's a lot. Anti-infested, but minus crit chance. Bummer. I could maybe use it with Calerva with that, but yeah, anti-infested makes the Riven look really ugly. That was a almost take right there. Alright, critical chance and slash. Not exactly the best. Let's go for a couple more rolls here before we call it, as it's not going to look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. Range, additional combo, attack speed. Another 0.7 meter range one. I kind of like this one a little bit better. It has the attack speed and the range. But yeah, 21% attack speed, or sorry, 21% additional combo chance is pretty weak. This is probably not a slob or Riven either way, so I think I'll go with the crit damage again. Actually, no. I think I'm going to go with the attack speed this time. They're both really not that great, but they're... At least I have critical damage on shards and Calerva, and I don't have the attack speed shards of Calerva, because they don't exist, so... If you got Arcane Strike, might not be as noticeable, but yeah, 30% attack speed versus 20% attack, 30% critical damage. You let me know which one I should have taken in the comments down below. Status chance, infested, attack speed, minus heavy efficiency. Pretty close, but I keep being infested on all these rolls, and it's really annoying me at this point. So let's go to 69 rolls here. That would be a good time to stop it. But yeah, guys, would not recommend rolling a Thalys Riven. They might be expensive unrolled, but once you get a unrolled Thalys Riven, good luck selling it for a decent price afterwards. I would say if you are unveiling melee Rivens to sell, as soon as you get a Thalys Riven, instantly sell it for plat. Do not roll it and try to get more profit out of it. People are going to realize, like, this thing's not the top tier weapon, it's not higher stat Rivens, it's just kind of like another weapon. Okay, what do we have here? Critical damage, 54%, electric damage 59.9%, and 1.9 meter or 1.9 second reduced combo duration. I think we take this one because that actually looks slobbable to me. Higher electric weighting, more critical damage, a not great negative, but we can make that work with how often we're hitting enemies. Okay, next one is going to be, I think that's the roll we started with, basically. Range, attack, speed, and heat. Or I think it was like range, no, it was crit damage, heat, and then like something else, so. Good stuff on that one. We got another roll that's pretty bad with status chance negative. A lot of bad rolls today, so let's go for 4 more rolls, see if we get a better roll than this one. But I'm not holding my breath. Anti-Grenier, Anti-Corpus, plus heat, and minus slide crit. So, come on. Better than that. We could do better than this. A little bit better of a negative than this one, and we're pretty much set on a slottable Riven. As it stands right now, this does look relatively slottable. It's almost a 60-60 electric mod with CD instead of status chance. And then 2 seconds of combo duration, not the best, but also not the absolute worst. You could definitely get worse than that. Plus slash, plus electric. Now, the funny thing about that is that for melee influence, you'll have so much slash, you won't be getting as much electric proc. So that could be a kind of counterproductive Riven, but still pretty funny in the end. And here's the last roll. Let's see if we get anything good in this last one. I'm holding out hope for a good Thalys Riven. And the final roll is Heavy Efficiency, Initial Combo, and Anti-Corpus. So I trashed what it ended on. Let's go see what the build looks like now we've maxed this out. I think in the end we did get a slobbable Riven for melee influence, which I was looking for, but the combo duration might be an issue. Okay, so as far as which mod we're going to replace on here, we've got Organ Shatter giving 90% CD. We've got the electric Riven we just got with 54.5 and 59% electric. Let's see what our electric weighting goes to with this Riven on there. Okay, so we get another, let's say another 400 electric damage. So we're twice as likely to proc electric than slash. That's actually good. And additionally, our CD actually went down because we're comparing Organ Shatter to this mod. Let's take off Blood Rush and see what it looks like now. So now with Blood Rush, 6.6 with the purple shards applied. A 14.8 multiplier seems pretty strong in the long run. Let's go with the sim. Quickly hop in the sim and see how this looks, guys. Now, as far as a better version of that roll, if you had that exact same roll, but with minus slash on it, I think it would be a much better Riven. As like I said, your waiting for melee influence procs is dictated by how much slash you have on the build. So you might think slash minus sounds really bad, but I'm telling you right now, for melee influence, it's really good. So maybe in the future we'll roll it some more, get a better version. But yeah, as it stands right now, a upgrade, I'd say, in a way, but not a full, like, the best Riven ever created. So, something in some Exo Gok stats. Let's see what we got here. Keeping in mind, these are going to be very tanky enemies. We have no Bane mod equipped. So we throw on Nourish. Well, I've been using Wrathful Advance with him, so. Alright, looks pretty standard to me. That's like standard melee influence stuff. We do the Incarnadon form. These create shards of enemies when you hit them, and then you can heavy attack to detonate the shards with the perks I've chosen. So, yeah, guys, the Thalys is relatively good. It's not meta, but it's pretty nice. I hope you guys found this enjoyable. Help. I'll see you in the next video. Tennocon coverage in depth on this channel. And yeah, the Thalys is pretty cool looking, but maybe not the best weapon in the game. As far as my perks on there, we've got Whirling Flurry, Adept Reflexes, Swift Transmute, and Chain Shatter. The main perk that you really want to think about is the final one. This one makes the shards this thing creates detonate from a heavy attack. The other ones, Void Splinters, make increased crit chance on these shards, and also Explosive Growth means enemies become impaled by the shards if you don't actually detonate them. So pretty interesting weapon, but yeah, I'll see you guys next time when this video is interesting and helpful to you, help you decide some Riven rolls, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Bye!